Welcome to the live. We're down in the basement slash music room area, and figured we go live again here. We haven't done a piano live in a while. These lights bright, aren't they? So feel free to ask your questions, chit chat, whatever it is, or just sit back and listen. If you have suggestions and I know it, I will play it. Let's see, what else do we got to do here? What's this do? I wish there was a way that I could throw the green screen on, because I have a green screen here for a reason, so I could do the backdrop like the kitchen when we're doing the video game lives. I have the backdrop as Uncle Harley's kitchen. But anyways, it's late. Hey, Glacier. It's been a fat minute. Hello, Magic Fly. I do Christmas, and we could do other kind of music as well. Whatever y'all really feel like hearing, let me know. I do have a ton of music books that I have not read in a long time. Some of them are trumpet, but I can transpose them to piano. Because even though they don't have that treble clef, they do have the bass. Not the bass. I can't think straight right now. They have the top line of music and the bottom one that doesn't for trumpet, but I know how to change that to piano. It's been a long time since I mean, that's not even my hand. That's my grandmother's handwriting. It's been a long time since I've even opened these books and read the music. So, the only time I really read music was when I was in school. And I got out of school and I just played by ear. Like, don't even know what that is. Huh. Those are sharps. Music is different for me. So, very much different. Megalovania, I don't know how to do that one yet. This is the trumpet book. How do I play Jingle Bell Rock on the trumpet? That's one question that I have. You're gonna go see you game live if there's. I don't know if there will be one tonight, but if there is, I'll see you there. Tonight's not a good night for piano because I'm trying to read a book and I can't read the book. That one I could kind of follow. That's how I did it. I follow it the first time. Once I get it, then I can play. Because you can see how slow I read. Well, now that I know how to play, I can't do it as slow as I did because I just know how to do it. There's me reading it now. And now it's in sharp. So that would be... okay, that's why it sounded wrong. sharp. Yeah, I can't find. I would never have been able to do that on a trumpet. My lungs never were that good. Are you serious? That's Ukrainian bell carol? That one I know how to do. Hey, Burrito. Hey, TP. Any in the Jets? You gotta remember how to do it. No, that's not right. Hello, Cody. Whoever sent the gifts, thank you. I'm just now seeing that. It is not showing me who did it, but it is appreciated. reading it is slower than me actually knowing how to play it. I've been doing pretty good. The exception, it's been 2 months since the ducks died, so I'm kind of finally not getting. You don't get over that, especially when they're pets to you, or you have pets, or even family. When they die, you never get over it. It's a lot of unexpressed love that you had for them is what the grief left over is, and I've been experiencing that with them. But the fact that I recorded so much of them for the members content on YouTube, and I could go back and look at that helps a lot. That I have so many videos of them. But I've been doing a lot better. Worked on the music room quite a bit. I can't show you everything right now. It's still a little bit of a mess, but it's getting pretty good. We got a little diner booth across from me here, so if family wanted to come down while I'm streaming and playing music, they could sit there, drink some coffee, eat something, and hang out down here while we're doing that. I also got a gaming area set up here. Really wish the green screen worked on this phone. I don't like TikTok anymore, but I like their vertical live features more, and I know that YouTube is copying them right now because of the pending ban. But I don't know if it's because it's like a copyright violation with them, but YouTube should add a green screen feature for their vertical lives, something that I could click here and add the background, because that's what I liked about the TikTok lives. I could get the background whatever I wanted to be, even without a green screen, because I'd like to be sitting inside the kitchen that I usually do when we're doing gaming lives. But we got this area. If it would just quit flooding down here when it rained, it'd be great. We get about 2 inches of water down here when it rains, so everything that's down here is elevated 2 inches up off the ground. But that costs money. Money of which I don't got, and money that I do got need to go to the duckies. This book is falling apart. We got the Grinch. I guess it even shows me how the little trumpet icon back there. I haven't touched this thing since middle school. I was in band class in middle school. I was a trumpet player. I actually still have that same trumpet right over there. I don't play it. I don't play it that much anymore. After I got out of middle school, I never really touched it that much. I got a ton of books here. A ton of trumpet books, piano music. Simply plain piano. Piano exercises. Yeah, I'm never going to be one of those sophisticated piano players. I'm just going to be myself, chicken enthusiast, and using musically inclined. Music for the millions. What kind of music do we got in here? These are songs from my piano teacher that I did have before she died. Ode to Joy. That's an oldie, ain't it? I am willing to do suggestions that you might have, by the way. But right now I'm just going through books to see if there's something I can do, since I got books down here now. That's not even in English. Concern to Concerto in A minor. The Washington Post The Last Hope. That's not The Last Hope that I remember. Come on, give me something good. Something good that I can play. I don't know how to read any of that anymore. It's been so long. I don't even know how to read that bottom bar and what the notes even would be. It's a continuation of. So bottom one would basically be that. But I'm so used to just reading the top one, basic one. 1952, huh? Yep, no, I won't be doing this book today. There's a lot of complicated stuff in there. Oldie but a goodie, huh? You an old soul? Alright, this might be a little easier. This is what I'm used to reading, folks. Right here. Alright. Yeah. Easy. Maple leaf rag. I love rag. But it doesn't have the left hand, so it doesn't do me any good. I have to figure it out by myself. What the heck does that mean? There's a whole different thing down here that says to do this. Okay. I played 2 different songs. That was the beginning of that one. That was the end of a different one. What was that one that I played? I just put those 2 together. Isn't this fun, folks? We're just sitting here and I'm just learning and playing again. And y'all are just sitting there watching me make a fool of myself. It's okay, though. It pays the bills. Another rag. Okay, now, so, I think together is faster. Something my piano teacher taught me, if you're ever doing this, you need to act like you have a golf ball or a tennis ball in your hand. I used to play like this, flat. She got on to me. She said, you gotta have your hands up, sit up straight. Have your hands like that. It didn't help me. I could read the thing, but if I don't know what the song is, I don't know how it goes, I can't get that tone. I can't get the song in there. I have to know what the song is. Not the ragtime dance. I don't know. Bro, I got literally tons of these books down here, and I don't even know how to read any of them. I need to start all over again. Yeah, got enough people in here. I'll play something to entertain you. Relaxing in a recliner, watching me play the piano. Oh, okay. Yep. I didn't think people were interested in that until my grandparents and aunts and uncles sat down. Even if I sucked, they liked sitting down watching me play. So, I'm more close to the KFC guy than anybody they had in their ads in recent years. I can tell you that. I'm the only one on the internet. Well, no, my cousin Josh on Lee's side of the family, Lee's great-grandchild, who would also be Uncle Harley's other third-great nephew, he is online too. So between him and I, we're the only two members of the Colonel's family actively making content on the internet. To the best of my knowledge, I don't believe anyone else in the Colonel's family is actually making content on the internet. Period. That song had the... I don't know if I can still do it or not on this. But the... I don't know how to do it anymore. See, if only I could do that and the piano at the same time, having the... If I just get the two together, that would be so much fun. Yes, I keep my harmonicas in a Kentucky Fried Chicken nugget box. Why? Because they fit perfectly. I get two of them in there. Not sponsored. Astro, if I ever get hired by KFC, y'all will be the first ones to know. I don't know if it ever will happen. I don't know if they are interested in it or not. The franchisees I talk to have been interested in it, but they aren't corporate. I have sent corporate a message. I've gotten a like to that message, but no response to that message. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if me being like Uncle Harley criticizing them for 8 years affects that or not. I don't know. I don't know. You know, what I do know is people on my page, if I say I like something, they go and try it, and they make the decision themselves whether they like it, and I don't lie. So if I say I like something, I like it, I think it's good, people trust my judgment on that, so they go and try it. Just like I said, I like Popeyes, I like Kentucky Fried Chicken, I like Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Those three places are my top three picks. I don't advertise Lee's locations or food anymore, though. We've been there, done that. I did it for free for over a year, and when I wanted a job with them, they misled me into thinking that there was a workout happening, like they were working something out. Their social team was working something out with their vice president of marketing, and I got a hold of the vice president of marketing, and they told me there was no plans. So because of the social team and what they did, I won't advertise their stuff unless there's a contract put in front of me by them they'll pay me to do a promotional thing or whatever. You will never see on my page any promotional content that's not related to KFC or a chain that my family has spun off. Like if Popeyes approached me and wanted me to do an ad or wanted to put a sponsorship on my channel for whatever reason, I'd say no, because they're not Kentucky Fried Chicken or Lee's. It has to be, even Taco Bell. If Yum Brands had me do a Taco Bell thing for a video sponsor, I'd probably say no to that, because I'm only interested in continuing the legacy through the restaurants this family has already created. Now, Uncle Harley, or not Uncle Harley, Kentucky Fried Chicken, it wasn't always my favorite pick. Growing up, I grew up on my grandfather's chicken and Popeyes. Those were my picks in Florida. The locations that I was near for Kentucky Fried Chicken weren't that great, so my opinion on them growing up, you got to imagine, yeah, I'm in the family, but the food wasn't that great, so that was my opinion on their food. So when I started doing videos talking bad about their ads because I wanted people to know that the family didn't appreciate the ads, the brand was ignoring the family. I was even blocked on a few occasions by the brand's pages. I wanted people to know the family was upset. We didn't like the ads. And on top of that, I threw in my opinion on their food. And 2 years ago, Kentucky Fried Chicken invited me out to Corbin, their birthplace. It's one of the best known locations for their food in America. And they invited me out. They said they wanted to change my opinion on their food. And I was reluctant. I didn't want to try it. They were giving it to me for free. And I said, I don't want to try it. And they had me try it. They insisted. So I tried it. I was not disappointed. And from that point, I decided to have an open mind, go try other locations. They're very good. So they earned back top 3 chicken joints in my own opinion. So we got KFC, Popeyes, and Lee's. Lee's is pretty good. I've only had a few bad locations since my time of talking about them. My first time trying Lee's is when I came to Corbin to reconcile with Kentucky Fried Chicken. The first Lee's I had there was not so good. The one in Mount Sterling, Kentucky was fantastic, and I don't know where this last one I went to was, but it was good too. I had to go back for more because it was good. Lee honey dipped his chicken, and his spice mix is different from Uncle Harley's, as 5 ingredients were barred. He was barred from using. So you can include all of the 11, but 5 ingredients of the 11 are in Lee's recipe. So 6 ingredients are in Lee's recipe, 5 of them are not. 5 of them are different ingredients, maybe similar in flavor, that he used in his chicken seasoning. He did not want to copy Uncle Harley, but Kentucky Fried Chicken sued him in 1966 when he started his own and said that you can't use these 5 ingredients. So he made sure he didn't put those in it. You like Chick-fil-A? You see, I don't, but I haven't had them since 2014. I think they're mediocre from what I experienced, and they gave me some pretty bad food 10 years ago, and I haven't been back to them. I just never really cared for them. But since I made up with Kentucky Fried Chicken, and even with the bad Lee's places I went to, I didn't let that cloud my judgment on their food, and even with the experience that I had with their social team, I kept an open mind about their food, and I need to do that with Chick-fil-A too. Now, I haven't been to one in 10 years. I don't know if I will. I won't do it for content unless we really start making some money on this page, because it costs money to do that, and I got to save what I got. And I don't mean to throw that on everybody here, but I like to be transparent. I'm not faking any of this stuff, and YouTube is now my job. So thank you for watching the ads. The Chick-fil-A situation, though, they gave me a gristle sandwich in 2014. And I don't know how they did it, but that thing was horrible. I ordered a chicken sandwich. I got gristle in it. It didn't even taste good. It tasted old and gross and slimy and gristly. I didn't like it. But I will give them a try sometime. I won't let that be my one judgment of the entire brand because of one location. Well, thank you. You think about getting Kentucky Fried Chicken this weekend? I hope you like it. Even though I have no stakes in the company, I make no money off of it. This is what I'm saying, though. Just us talking, doing whatever. People crave the stuff. They want to go try it. And I think that's a good benefit to Kentucky Fried Chicken if they had me represent them through everything I do, just walking around or online talking about them or just chit-chatting with folks. I think they're missing out a lot. Instead of trying to live off the name Colonel Harlan Sanders, they could live off the name Colonel Sanders and have a real one that has the same effect that he did on folks to go and eat the chicken. Lee's had that opportunity to do that with me. I think they really didn't do it with me because of the whole Colonel Sanders thing. That is my name, and I look very similar to him, so it could be an IP infringement on their competing market. So I think that really was the reason, but they didn't want to say that, and I was giving them such free publicity that who's going to tell me to stop? It's free publicity, and it did good for them for a while. So I really think that was what was the deciding factor for a no on that part, was because of the Sanders name and the Colonel title and the looks and whatnot. But they could have just told me that. I still would have been happy to talk about their food like I am now, rather than them lie to me or mislead me for so long to use my famous connections and my clout that I had on other platforms to promote their pages and their locations. Had they just been honest with me, I still wouldn't mind talking about it. That's why I still talk about KFC. They haven't hired me. This isn't to push them to hire me, but they were honest with me. You know, we had a battle for 8 years online. I was blocked several times. Didn't like their food, didn't like their ads. And then they invited me out. They were honest with me. We got the chit chat. And because of that respect that was shown, I have no problem talking about them on my pages still. Anybody have any music suggestions? Otherwise, we're going OG here. Aunt Claudia played the piano, and Uncle Harley had the piano inside of his living room. And there's photos of her playing it. I'm not sure if there's any videos. I'll have to check with some family. I'm sure if Claudia's family has it, they're not going to share it with me, because I have talked so bad about Joe Leddington, her nephew. And if he didn't lie, if he wasn't rude to my family through Johnny Miller, and he didn't lie to the public about a recipe, I never had an issue with him. But they can keep all those videos if they got them. But I'll check with my cousins and see if they got anything. remember how to do that part. See, that sounds off. That's supposed to be Minecraft Dungeons. I appreciate it, Cody. 11 original notes and chords. I like that. I play Colonel Sanders. I play Minecraft. Yeah. Matter of fact, last week we started a new live series called Mintropolis. We just built the KFC Yum Center in it, and it's a new city. For 11 years, we built Minopolis on this page, but nobody watched it. We had no viewers. Viewers didn't come until I started talking about the family history, which is about 3 years ago. But for 10 years, we built Minopolis. I just closed that last year because we got bored of it, and it was so old and so big, and it just got old. So now we're starting a new one a year later, and we're going to have it kind of fast food theme. We're going to add a bunch of fast food restaurants throughout it, but also a bunch of skyscrapers, and we'll see where it goes. We also have... See, my gaming videos don't do as good as my lives. The video series, we have hardcore mode that we have done. Now, members have access to the very last episode of the Hawktua Chronicles, is what we called it. First, we had Minecraft hardcore mode. All those episodes are out. My friends died immediately. I can make it last a long time because I get hyper fixated on the game. I'm autistic, so I like trains, and I can make the game last. My friends don't like to get ready and prepared before going out and exploring. So in hardcore mode, they decide I'm invincible, and they go out into the wilderness and get killed by something, and then they don't want to touch the game again, and I have to close out the world because I'm not going to play it by myself. And so we did that about 3 or 4 times before I said, screw this, we're not doing hardcore mode anymore. So then we started doing the Hawktua Chronicles, which was hardcore mode again. And I don't think Tyler got to play in that one, but Matt did. And there's 3 episodes to it. 2 of them are out now. I have the tism, Cody. I have what they call Asperger's, but there's a bunch of people on the internet that are offended by me calling it that, but my doctor never told me the name changed. My doctors never re-diagnosed me with what it's called today. And the people on the internet that were complaining about me saying Asperger's were spreading misinformation. They kept saying that I was associating myself with a Nazi, which is not true. They say the name changed because of a Nazi, which is not true. They said that the Nazi coined the term Asperger's, which is not true. I had to do research into this because I thought it was bullcrap. People were saying what I have is a canceled term. And I've had to struggle with this my whole life. I got bullied for having it my whole life. And I'm not going to be told I can't tell my story. So I looked it up to see what the reason was. And somebody was curious too. And they found the history of Hans Asperger, which was a Nazi Germany Austrian physician. And Hans Asperger did the studies to discover the symptoms of what would be called Asperger's later. And he would use that to determine whether children were worthy of living or dying at the camps and whatnot. But he didn't coin the term. The term Asperger's was coined in the 1980s by a British practitioner. Not by Hans Asperger, who did the research in the 1940s, but he did not coin the term. It was nearly 40 years later that the term was coined based off of his findings. Now, whatever group it is, I don't really know what the group is called that makes the terms for autism and medical terms, and I don't really care because it's not chicken. But they found that that's probably not the best thing to be associated with, but that's not why they changed the term. Asperger's, and I could attest to this because there were no treatments available through insurance with me. Doctors didn't know much about Asperger's compared to autism at the time, so there was a lot of things that should have been done that weren't done with me as a kid growing up with it. And they changed the term to something else. I can't remember the name of it. It's a very short term to better categorize it in the autism spectrum to help with treatments and insurance purposes to better cover the treatments needed for folks who have it. Some people have it worse than I do, and they need treatments. I needed it when I was a kid, but I didn't get it. I had to learn to cope and overcome my issues that I have. I still have some issues, but I don't show them as easy. Anger is one of them. I could have a meltdown. When I have a meltdown, it's not good. Sound sensitivities come along with it with me. And when I had cancer when I was 8, it also amplified my symptoms, so it got even worse. The people tried telling me I had ADHD, ADD, all this other stuff, but my main practitioner that I had said, do not let anybody, the one that diagnosed me said, don't let anybody tell your kid that he has any of those other things. He has Asperger's syndrome. So that's what I grew up learning, is that I have Asperger's. So it's called something else now. Some people are offended by it because they were told to be offended by it, and they share misinformation on it. They think they're doing something good, but they're sharing misinformation. They say a Nazi coined the term. Again, British practitioner in 1980s coined the term, not Hans Asperger's. It was named after Hans Asperger's, very horrible, disgusting human being, but he did not coin the term, and that's not why it was changed. It's part of it. It was a description of why, but the main reason why was so children with what I have and adults who get diagnosed later on in life can get the proper treatment covered under insurances and whatever else. That's why. And if I'm wrong, somebody who has what I have can correct me on it, because I won't listen to somebody who don't have what I have and doesn't have somebody in their family that has suffered with what I have to be able to tell me what I can and can't do or say or whatever. Minecraft server, it's not a server that people could join. Would have to add you, and I don't add people anymore. I add my members because that's a perk for them, but it took a few bad eggs out of the crowd to ruin me adding everybody. Because I used to, on Monopolis, I used to invite everybody that possibly could to join the server whenever somebody did want to join. And then I started getting viewers, and apparently that changes the perception that people have on you. When you have a lot of viewers, people either start getting creepy, they start getting too personal, start getting weird, and it's not like you just met me, I just met you, we're trying to be friends. It is a weird obsessive, getting personal, obsessive personalization. And I just decided, for the safety of myself, my own sanity, my friends, and whoever else, we're just not going to invite everybody. But if people pay the membership fee, then I will add them on my Xbox account and allow them to come join some things. You want a Christmas melody? I can do that. Now, I used to get personal with a lot of folks when they, because I grew up with no friends, nobody really talked to, and now I got two of the best friends in my whole life, Matt and Tyler. But before them, I had nobody. So when somebody took an interest in me, I wanted to show them, what I could do and the talents that I had, the information I had on my family history. Some things I had wrong in the early days, and I accidentally gave out some misinformation, but I've corrected it since. Um, that goes to show that there is always two sides to a story, because the things that I shared before weren't in good light of one of my cousins, one of the colonel's daughters. Based on my side of the family's interactions with them, and other members of the family's interaction with them kind of lined up with that, but then there was a lot of members of the family and franchisees that interacted with her that loved her. So because of that, you know, my family's perspective was different. Other families' perspectives were different. Franchises or franchisees' families' perspectives were different. So I did some research and contacted a few people to get to know the one daughter. And I learned that she was actually quite the person. There were some things I disagree with, like one of the books that she wrote that painted Uncle Harley in a weird light. It was very explicit on his sexual life, and they're making a movie on that. And that's where a lot of the disconnect from the rest of the family happened, was when that book was written. So I never heard of any of the good aspects about her. Just because she did that one bad thing, or what's considered bad by most of the family, didn't mean she was a bad person. So we're talking about Margaret, by the way. She was very artistic. She liked music. She liked adventure. She even wrote to Albert Einstein in the past. She went on a journey to find the lost city of Atlantis. All kinds of things that I would be interested in. I would have gone along with her very well. I could have overlooked the book thing, because, I think it's a little weird to write anything sexual about your father. But it was called 11 Herbs and a Spicy Daughter. But, to each their own. And because of that book, a lot of the family, like Lee's side, said they couldn't believe that the daughter would write a book like that. It's all lies and exaggerations. There were several people that held Uncle Harley in a great light. They said it was lies and exaggerations. I never read the book, so I can't tell you whether it's lies or not. I'm just told by everybody else that it's lies and exaggerations. From what I heard, it sounds like it's a book that really got back at Claudia, because Uncle Harley did cheat on his first wife, Josephine. He did. I will not hide that. That is one thing. There's an ant on my phone. Hello, sir. Goodbye. He cheated on his first wife. It's probably one of the worst things he ever did. And he cheated on her with Claudia, and Claudia took him away from his first wife. And I believe there was resentment. I would have resentment too if I was his child and my mother and father got split up because of a woman. Call him a homewrecker. But I don't know the full story of that. I just know that he did cheat on her. And he ended up divorcing Josephine and marrying Claudia. And that book did not paint Claudia very nicely. So from my perspective, that book really is just getting back at her. And the anger and passion that was being let out in that book for that. So, now, family that was there, there's another. Hello? Can you hear me now? I hit the microphone thing because of an ant on the phone. Okay. What's the last thing you heard? What's the last thing you heard? I've been ranting on. I've been telling you guys stories. So, I think we're talking about Margaret. My family didn't get along with her, and that was my perspective growing up. But then other family that I met later and franchisees explained to me that she told wild stories, and they say it laughing. They go, she told some pretty wild stories. And by saying that they're saying that you don't know whether the stories were true or not, but they were wild, but they were entertaining to hear. You know, she could have been pulling people's legs for all we know, and that could be that book too. So I did some research on her because, you know, I only had my side of the family's perspective of her, which wasn't that great. And I learned more about her. She was very artistic, very musically inclined. She went to try to find the lost city of Atlantis. She wrote to Albert Einstein. She was into all kinds of scientific stuff and adventure and creativity, and that's me. I like that stuff, so I think I would have gotten along with my cousin Margaret. Now, Mildred, my family did get along with. Everybody in the family that has ever met Mildred, I haven't heard any bad things about. Everybody loves Mildred. And we stayed in contact with her. I have some Christmas letters from her. She died in 2010. Margaret died years early. I don't remember what year it was that she died, but it was in the early 2000s. And she was somebody that I would have gotten along with, regardless of what the stories that I've been told about her are. I would have gotten along with her. Two sides to every story. And that led into what I was saying when I was on mute. Claudia's family, Joe Lettington, when he leaked the recipe in 2017, an impersonator, Johnny Miller, who wanted to mooch what he could off of Joe, contacted me because at the time I was in contact with him, and he told me Joe would like to meet my grandpa and I and give us the scrapbook because he believed it should be in the actual family's hands. And you know, at the time, I didn't do any research. I didn't know whether the recipe was fake or not. I didn't know whether Joe was a liar or not. And so we said, yes, give us his number. We called. He said he had sour feelings with the Sanders family still. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? I never met you. My grandpa never met you. We're pretty sure our great-grandpa never met you. So there's no reason to have sour feelings. Well, he said that and kept the scrapbook. Johnny Miller got my uncle's belt buckle out of it and yada, yada, yada. So I did some research. I did some research on the recipe. Quite a bit of stuff on there because I wanted to disprove Joe's recipe and many other recipes that people were throwing in my face as I was starting this journey online. And I found a lot of misspells, like oregano in number 4 on his list is spelled wrong. And oregano is how he spelt it, by the way. He also has salt listed as one of the 11. And I remember a story that Uncle Harley said himself, both in an interview and to my grandfather, great-grandfather, Charles Sanders. He did not include salt as the 11 herbs and spices. Salt was added to the flour after the 11 were mixed in with the flour. So salt was technically 12. And Joe wrote salt in as one of the 11. He claimed that that was the recipe, backtraced it, and said it wasn't afterwards. And they also claimed that it was the Colonel's handwriting. Joe's son or grandson, whoever, Bubba Hall, whoever he is to Joe Lettington, said that that is the Colonel's handwriting. Well, I have the Colonel's handwriting in the house here. I have his signature and his print. It doesn't match. It doesn't match his handwriting. I held him up side to side, and I showed that he was a liar. Always two sides to a story, right? Well, my grandparents, when they used to stay with Uncle Harley in Shelbyville, Kentucky, and on Ellie Grange Road after he moved out of the Shelbyville mansion, Black Hall Manor, my grandparents said there was this dude that was living or not living, but staying with Uncle Harley. They didn't know who he was. They didn't know his name, but they knew that he smoked. Uncle Harley hated smoking. He had a sign in his house that said, "Smokers don't like our home, and we don't like smokers." Or home don't like smokers, something like that, because he didn't like smoking. There was no smoking on the Colonel's property. He did not want smoking outside his house. He didn't want smoking inside his house. And this guy would lie to the Colonel's face and say that he wasn't smoking. He just went outside for a stroll. And my grandpa would go outside and he would see him out there smoking by the pond on his property. And he never snitched on him to Uncle Harley, but he said he was a piece of crap. He was a liar. He was just a moocher or wannabe or something. And they didn't know who he was. Turns out this guy was Joe Lettington. And I got in contact with Lee's side of the family, who actually knew Joe. And Lee's side of the family said Uncle Harley didn't really care much for Joe because he was a liar. And Lee didn't care much for Joe because he was a liar too. He was one of Claudia's nephews. But Uncle Harley's not going to, banish him from seeing his aunt at the house. So he's going to welcome him and his children to the home to spend time with family. So, because Uncle Harley, whether step-in-law, whatever, if you were a decent human being, he'd treat you just like his own flesh and blood. He loved everybody. Which makes it more disappointing to see people like Joe Lettington taking advantage of the relation to my uncle and lying about having a recipe and making that go public. But besides the point, I was told that stuff. So that made it make sense why Joe said that he had sour feelings with the Sanders family, because he actually did. And not just the Sanders family as me. He's including the Cummings, the Edwards, the Bennetts, the Ruggles, the Ices, all of the different family branches of the Colonel's family. He bunched them up into the Sanders family because it's famous last name Sanders, even though there's only a few of us left with the last name. He bunched us all up together, said he has sour feelings. Well, it's because Lee didn't like him and Uncle Harley didn't really care for him. And I don't say he didn't care for him like he was hateful with him. He tolerated him. But that's why. So that made sense why he said that. It doesn't make sense why he, for some reason wanted to meet with me and my grandpa, give us a scrapbook. Maybe it was because they knew that we would see the bull crap in the scrapbook, and then he changed his mind on that and used the excuse of him having sour feelings of why he changed his mind on meeting us and talking with us. But regardless, it's in the past, it's whatever. But I still have to address that fake recipe that people spread around saying the Colonel's own nephew leaked the recipe and yada, yada, yada. Because it's just not true. Things just need to be right. It's a cool story enough, whether he liked the guy or not, that he knew Uncle Harley and has photos with him. You don't need to lie and say you got the recipe. So, this had been a whole rant thing. But if I regret anything out of all this stuff, it is having to see and interact with that misinformation, especially coming from those that we should call family, and the hate spread around by them. I would say I regret having to engage in that. I wouldn't want to, but if I don't say something about it, it's just going to continue to spread without being checked. There are people trying to figure out this recipe, like Glenn and Friends and Matt, Pat, Food Theory, yada yada, that have quoted Joe. And they say that it's bullcrap, but they have no idea whether it's bullcrap or not, because they don't know the stuff that this family knows. And although the family doesn't know what it is, and there's no confirmation whether anybody actually has it or not, this family knows more than those channels with millions of subscribers trying to figure out what the recipe is. So those millions of subscriber people who don't really have that confirmation were the only ones out there saying anything about it being fake. Nobody pointed out the misspells that I found. Nobody compared notes on the handwriting. I did that stuff. So if I didn't say anything about it, and I get passionate about it, I get ticked off, and I'll throw the guy under the bus. I don't care for Joe Lettington. If he didn't want his name said on my page, I guess Bubba Hall shouldn't have come on my page and threatened me, and also lied and spread rumors about Colonel Sanders. I got all the screenshots of that too to prove it in case he ever wanted to challenge me. I even set them into the Kentucky Fried Chicken lawyers as defamation against the brand because they were defaming the brand and the Corbin Tourism Department for glorifying Colonel Sanders. And they were spreading slander against him on my page. So, it disgusts me that people are like that and will lie and say things like that just for attention or just to ruin a man's name. I finally got frustrated with it because for a few years I was talking about how Joe's recipe is bullcrap. And then his family got on my page and started saying things. And when they said things, it ticked me off. So I was like, I was told the Colonel didn't like you guys, so why are you bragging about knowing him? And they completely switched up. But I hate engaging in drama. That's the one thing I regret. But like I said, I'm the only one in the family doing this kind of content. And if I don't say something when something is wrong and brought up and spreading around the internet, who's going to say something? Who's going to have that authority to correct it? The brand doesn't even address half of the stuff. They addressed Joe Langton's. They said his thing was fake. But who's going to believe the brand? Because, of course, they're going to say it's fake to protect their trade secret. What if it was real? They said it wasn't authentic enough, and nobody believed the brand because they said, of course, the brand's a corporation. They're greedy. They're going to try to hide if it actually got leaked or not. It doesn't benefit me one way or the other, and it's a fake recipe. It just needs to be right. Things need to be right. And it got spread around, it's still spread around today. People trying to get famous off of this stuff, using Joe Langton's name and recipe to get famous off of Colonel Sanders for their own page and self-gain, and it makes me disgusted. That one thing that he did sparked all this other stuff, and that's just bullcrap. I mean, Uncle Harley probably wouldn't have addressed any of it himself because he knows what the truth is. I know what the truth is, and that's all that matters, or all that should matter, but yeah, I get tired of seeing it thrown in my face, so I say something about it. But that would be my only regret with all this, is engaging in the drama and putting it out there. And I could have tried to reach out to these impersonators and reach out to Joe privately, which actually I did, and I was blocked, so yeah, no, they deserve it. Never mind. They blocked me, so I couldn't dispute it privately. Get them to correct themselves or to stop doing what they were doing. I had to go public with it because they wanted their stuff public. They wanted to be famous with misinformation, so all right, let's let them be famous. I'm going to help them be famous by showing the truth on top of that. So, Joe, if you're watching this, I'd like to reconcile with you. I'd like you to be somebody that I care for rather than not care for. I'm a firm believer, no matter what bad blood that there is, that redemption is a thing and you can be redeemed. You can be forgiven. All can be forgiven. Just got to admit that you were wrong and apologize. I will not apologize for defending the Colonel's legacy and his name and everything that has to do with that against slander, lies, and misinformation. And people trying to take his own success and story and twist it to better their own. I will not apologize for that. But, yeah, I'd like to reconcile with people. I don't like bad blood. We got any music we want to hear? These are always chit-chatty lives. We go in deep. And I'm also a firm believer that family drama does not belong on the internet, and family drama should be kept private. It's just a shame that they go public with misinformation and I have to go back behind them and clean it up. No, smoking is legal. And it was legal back then too, but Uncle Harley didn't like it. So, the way that I see that, I don't have a problem with him having to go for a hike to go smoke. If you're at somebody's house, you are a guest there. You are to respect that house and the rules of that house. And Uncle Harley's rule was no smoking. So, if you can't respect that, you don't need to be staying at the house. Now, if you're at someone's house and they do welcome smoking, have at it. But if you're at someone's house and they say that they don't want you to smoke on their property, then don't smoke on their property. So I'm not too saddened about that. Now, what was his reasoning? I don't know. He never drank and he never smoked. He never got into any of that stuff. I think he even said he didn't really drink coffee. My vice is coffee. I drink coffee. I don't smoke, I don't drink, but I drink coffee. And Uncle Harley never got into any of that stuff. His brother did. My great-great-grandfather did. A lot of people in the family did get into drinking and smoking. And I'm not saying it makes them bad people, but Uncle Harley was different. He just wasn't into that stuff. I'm not into that stuff. But it's not for everybody, you know? Different vices for different people. His vice was chicken. All right. It must be getting below freezing because it's cold down here. Feet are starting to get cold. So we're going to shut it down for the night. If you guys like these kind of lives where we just chit chat and, you know, play music, I just broke my foot pedal. Then feel free to let me know that that's what you want to see more of, because I'll do it. And if you're interested in the Minecraft series, please check out the Minecraft playlist. If you're just interested in hardcore mode, check out the hardcore playlist. And if you're just interested in the Minecropolis live series, turn your notifications on so you don't miss a new episode. But they are also turned into VODs in the playlist Minecropolis. So if you're interested in that stuff, thousands of videos, hundreds of videos to keep you entertained. And I need the ad revenue, so yeah, it's appreciated if you watch that stuff. I get very discouraged when I put all that effort into those kind of videos, and they're like half hour long. And they hardly hit the algorithm. They get maybe 30 views, and then my shorts get hundreds of thousands of views, and my lives get hundreds of views. But those videos that I'm passionate about don't. So when I talk to you guys about this in the lives, people seem very interested in them. And that encourages me. So if you guys want to see that stuff, please go look for it. It's here on this page. All right, you have a good night too. Ciao.